Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of QG Salah on Quranology Television, QG TV. Today we'll be discussing the Salah and Dhikr of Musa. Some of you may ask, why Dhikr? Well, Dhikr is a concept which is very intimately connected with Salah. Actually, so is Zakat and Tasbih and a few other words as well. But today we'll be focusing on Dhikr. Another thing is the focus on Musa. Why Musa especially? Well, Musa is, in terms of frequency of mentioning, is the most prominent personality in Quran. He's mentioned over 130 times in 31 chapters of Quran. And his example is indispensable in order to understand the dynamics of Islam versus Kufr in Quran. I mean, his dialogue with Fir'aun is very indicative of this. If we study the dialogues between Musa and Fir'aun, we can understand the concept of Islam versus Kufr in Quran. And it's really not what everyone thinks it is, I think. But that's for another time. Today we'll be learning about the Salah and Dhikr of Musa, and I must say I haven't seen any personality mentioned so explicitly with Salah other than Musa, but obviously that's open to change if any one of you can find such a passage. But the passage we're dealing with starts from chapter 20 verse 9. Chapter 20 Taha is quite prominently about Musa. It starts from verse 9 all the way to verse over 100, which talks about Musa, and it's basically the entire spiritual journey, Musa's confrontation with Fir'aun, even Musa's early history is mentioned. So you could say, this is the first chapter which is really solely about Musa. I think the story of Musa is also mentioned in chapter 7, which is which is treated at length as well, but not as detailed as this particular chapter. Anyway, let's analyze the Salah of Musa. It starts from verse 9, and I must say we shouldn't read verse 9 without reading verses 1 to 8. Always read B to B, always read Bismillah to Bismillah, because that is the segmentation given by Allah. So if Allah wants us to read Allah wants us to read from verse 1. So therefore verse 1 to 8 has a significant bearing on how we understand verse 9 onwards. Anyway, let's begin with verse 9, and we can analyze verses 1 to 8 in due course as well. So it starts with verse 9, وَهَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ مُوسَى, and has the event of Musa reached you? You're talking to the reader now, yeah? So basically it's asking, has the event of Musa reached you? As in, what happened to Musa? Has it reached you yet? إِذْ رَأَى نَارٍ, verily he saw a fire, or when he saw a fire, فَقَالَ لِأَهْلِهِ أَمْكُثُوا, and he said to his folks, wait, or tarry, إِنِّي أَنَسْتُ نَارًا, I perceive a fire, لَعَلِّي أَتِيكُم مِّنْهَا بِقَبَاسٍ أَوْ أَجِيدُ عَلَى النَّارِ هُدًى, maybe I can bring to you a part of the fire, a burning brand therefrom, or find in the fire guidance. So what sort of fire is this? This cannot be a normal fire. I mean, you don't go to a fire and ask for guidance. So this fire must be something internal, perhaps a metaphor. Because if light in Quran is metaphorical, I mean, Allahu nuru samawati wal ard, chapter 24 verse 35, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. So if light, nur, can be metaphorical, so can nar, fire. In fact, they're actually from the same root, nun alif ra. So you can see that there is a strong link there. فَلَمَّا آتَهَا, at length he came to her, to the fire. Nudiya ya Musa, a call was heard, O Musa, okay, Inni ana rabbuka, verily I am your Lord. فَأَخْلَعْ نَيْلَكَ, put off your shoes. So in other words, his spiritual journey has now ended. He is now he has now found the truth. إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِي الْمُقَدَّسِ الطُّوَّى, verily you are with the valley, the purified or holy valley of Tuwa. Tuwa means to be rolled up. وَأَنَا أَخْتَرْتُكَ, and verily I have selected you. فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى, so listen to what is inspired. Now this is very interesting. This comes just before verse 14, which is about the Salah. But you can tell from this, at this point, that it's a state in which you are in divine communion with Allah. You feel that fire, that spiritual heat. And that spiritual heat is when you are facing your Creator. So this is a salah between you and your Creator now. And your Creator is telling you, listen. Why? Because there are instructions being given to you now. And these instructions will be very personal, obviously. I mean, the instructions you get will be different from what I get and from what Musa got. But we are to listen to what is being inspired. فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. So here we can see that Salah is a state of divine communion. Well, how do I know it's Salah? We'll see the next ayah. So the next ayah is actually quite powerful. Innani ana Allah. Innani ana Allah. Verily I am Allah. So the double emphasis on Allah there shows how close Musa was with Allah. And that's how our salah should be as well. The khushu', it should manifest as that closeness with Allah. La ilaha illa ana. There is no God but me. Now this is a very rare statement in Quran. Usually it's La ilaha illahu. Verily there is no God but He. Or La ilaha illallah. There is no God but Allah. But now Allah is speaking in the first person. La ilaha illa ana. There is no God but me. Allah is saying. Fa'buduni. So serve me. That's what you do when you have an ilah. You serve the ilah. So fa'buduni, Allah is saying, serve me. Wa aqimis salata. Aqimis salah. And establish the link, the connection, lidhikri, for my vivification. So salah, you are having that link with Allah now. Aqimus salah for dhikri, Allah says. So it's still in the first person, mind you. So what is dhikri? Now this is the question we need to ask. And there are two ways to know this. Again, we begin with the context, which is chapter 20. We start with ayah 1. And in ayah 1, Allah talks, I'm not going to go through it right now because it's not part of the actual topic. But in ayah 1, we can see that Allah is talking about the descent of Quran. Allah says in ayah 2, مَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنِ لِتَشْقَى. We did not send the Quran to you to be an occasion of distress. إِلَّا تَذْكِرَةً لِمَا يَخْشَى, except to be a reminder for those who are in focus. So what does this tell us? Well, basically, this is about the Quran. We're reading the Quran for inspiration, and Allah says it's a reminder for those who are in focus. So verse 8 is quite interesting. Verse 8 says, Allah, la ilaha illa huwa. So it's almost like the same ayah as ayah 14. La ilaha illa huwa. Lahu al-asma'ul husna. To him belongs the beautiful, balanced names. Allah says, Dhikri, Aqim salata lidhikri. Establish salah for my vivification. How do you vivify Allah? By bringing into reality His names. Al-Asma al-Husna. So, what does this mean exactly? This means we create a society in which Allah's names are brought to life. Allah is Ar-Rahman. So Rahman is merciful, but showing one's might. You know, whenever Ar-Rahman is mentioned, it's usually in a state of calling Allah's protection. Ar-Rahman. Rahim is a state of mercy where Allah acts like a womb, nourishing us, giving us sustenance, giving us growth, evolution. Rahman and Rahim are probably the two main names of Allah. So we have to bring about these states in society. That is what dhikri is, my remembrance, the remembrance of Allah. So if we can do this, so we need to read the Quran, we need to figure out how Allah's names are used, and when we focus in our salah, in our divine communion, it is for that purpose. The end goal is that purpose. And this will be corroborated by chapter 29, verses 45 to 46, which we'll look at soon. Another passage which is very interesting is in chapter 2, verse 152, which says, فَأَذْكُرُونِي وَأَذْكُرْكُمْ. Dhikr, yeah? Dhikri. فَأَذْكُرُونِي. You can see the phonetic similarity there. فَأَذْكُرْنِي وَأَذْكُرْكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. فَأَذْكُرُونِي. Therefore vivify me, bring me to life. وَأَذْكُرْكُمْ. And I will bring you to life. So Allah is promising you, if you do His dhikr, He will do your dhikr. So dhikr is not that traditional, reciting litanies thing. No, it's actually bringing Allah to life, to prominence in your life, the liqa Allah, the meeting with Allah. وَأَشْكُرُوا لِي. In the same verse, وَأَشْكُرُوا لِي. Be grateful to me. وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. And do not conceal. So the opposite of that is concealment or kufr, the major dreaded word. We don't want that, kufr. But that is the opposite. So why did I mention this particular passage? Well, this passage is the end of the passage which starts with verse 122. And verse 122 is a very powerful passage. Verse 122 to 152 is a very powerful passage indeed. It is about Bani Israel, or the movement to Allah. Yeah, and this Bani Israel, it says, Ya Bani Israel, O Bani Israel, Afkuru ni'mati allati an'amtu alaykum. Bring to life the blessings which I have blessed upon you. Wa anni faddaltukum alal alamin. And I have preferred you over all the people, or over all the worlds. Sorry. So there you can see that this passage from verse 122 to 152 is about constructing that society which enshrines the names of Allah, brings those names to life. And this is aqim as-salata lidhikri. When you say aqim as-salata lidhikri, your salat, it must be to bring about these things. So when you have that divine communion with Allah, Allah will give you that instructions towards building that kind of society, even vivifying that in your own personal life as well. So that's it. That is the Salah and Dhikr of Musa. If we continue to read the story of Musa, we will see that Musa's journey, his confrontation with Fir'aun, his war against evil, is actually showing how he brings Allah into the lives of Bani Israel. And that is the purpose of Salah. When you establish Salah, listen to the instructions given to you by Allah. Allah could do that with the Quran as well. When you read the Quran, read it as if it's being revealed to you. And you will see that it is actually part of Salah, your link with Allah. So with that, I close today's video. And inshallah, in the next video, maybe we can look at the relationship of Salah with Al-Kitab, which is quite heavy as well. Thank you once again for following this series, and again, I look forward to your comments and criticisms. I know this is not a traditional reading, but that's the whole point. So the point is to apply, not just to gloss over. Thank you very much for your viewership.